Well, it did, but
Yeah,
I
no, it's
I can't make promises or I can't make any
Never stopped
guarantees
you before.
that it won't. That's true. Not only are you not getting a rose garden, but there is no guarantee that it will also change over for anybody who comes in. So it's just easier to
scare them. Okay, fair
cut
enough.
it for that 10-second burst and then
First.
Am I part of a certain audience?
You know what? People are gonna see that as like a file, and it's that it was adult, and it was like 10 seconds. They're gonna be like, "What were those
What
10
did they
seconds?"
do?
and they're gonna listen to me saying like, oh, okay, misreading the thing and then reading it
Whoa.
right.
You need
hell
to
did she
join
do
our
the cat
Patreon
this time?
to know. You need to join our Patreon to know what we did in those 10 seconds.
Yeah.
Fumble around with volume and figure out what the hell we're doing.
In fact, I better go delete that 10 seconds right now.
Oh, damn.
Oh, it was 30.
Oh, shit. Getting all kinds of real up in here. What's that about? That's insane.
Belated.
Belated? All right, that's cool.
No,
All right.
belated, like strong bads would say.
All right. Okay, then. You ready?
Yep.
I'm ready to rock now. Had to yawn first.
How the hell can March Madness go into April? It's GRD Weekly.
Mm.
Final. Like, there's still going to be games in April, beginning of April.
Was April accidentally invited to May's text chat or something?
Something.
Marches.
Signal chat. Yeah, there you go. GRD Weekly, we're the fine folks from GeekRadioDaily.com, welcoming you to episode number
334.
334.
There you go. Wow, nice. The folks bringing to you tonight the woman who says the words I often love to hear, that there is the Flinstress.
Hey, Freak Boy. I'm gonna make myself a little more luscious for you, okay?
Oh! The lady who
Not
will be
possible.
blunt, that there is Carol the Cat.
You're as funny as a cry for help.
The man who is trying to deal with things, it's podcasting Dred Siegfried.
I don't like parties, and I don't like presents, and most of all, I don't like being reminded of Owl Land.
And I'm
Accurate.
the guy who has some real concerns. I worry. I'm the wonderful Billy Flynn.
Some terrifying space monkeys maybe got loose?
Space monkeys. Gotta watch out for those. What happened, Joe?
I can 100%
Wow.
picture Terry saying luscious like that.
Well, yeah, we watched some stuff. Let's see. We finished Extraordinary, the first season of that show, and man, like I said, if you're enjoying like messed up, kind of effed up stuff with really terrible people, but that you also sort of can't help but like, and their superpowers, so that's Extraordinary. What is that on? I'm trying to remember which like streaming service that one's on.
Hulu, I think it was.
Oh, okay. Hulu. We also watched Tracker, but we're behind by one episode, and he hasn't taken his shirt off this entire season.
Nope, not
I
at all.
mean, it's not that we're gonna like stop watching the show, but like,
No,
do I need to write an email to somebody at CBS, who's got that hookup and be like, dear
sound
costume
better.
department, lose the shirts.
Look, in fairness, CBS was the one of the first networks that got a writing campaign, and that was for Star Trek. So
That's right. They
We also
listen.
wanted
Sometimes they
him
listen.
shirtless,
Mhm.
Shatner shirtless. Ah.
Had a lot of that, so.
Yeah. Let's see, Daredevil. Are we caught up on Daredevil? Is
No,
there
there's
more
one
Daredevil?
episode because it
We're
happened
one
last night.
behind on Daredevil, right? It's hard when you do a podcast and then stuff comes out the day before, but so
And you have a
we're
kid
one
with soccer
behind
game.
on
Soccer.
yeah. Soccer has taken over our whole life. It's a good thing I love soccer, but still, it's just like, whew, it's just a lot of soccer. And I've taken to watching really obscure soccer, like the more obscure, the better. Like I watched in Spanish, two Mexican club teams play each other, women's teams. But I tell you what, this was the wildest game. One of the team beat the other one 8-1 and just was scoring. They probably had 3 goals called back for offsides. It was like and they do all these like spin moves and stuff. And then if you haven't seen it before, have you heard of Omega Ball? I can't remember if I've talked about this on the show before.
You seen a Mega Ball?
Probably every time we have the show. So it's like soccer, except you play in a circle and there's 3 teams.
There's 3 teams.
So like
Oh
the
my
blue
God.
teams can score in the red team or the yellow team's goal. the red team can score in the yellow or the blue goal. You only have to defend your goal, but whoever scores the most goals win. It's also really fast because when the ball goes out of bounds, it's really easy to reset. So it essentially addresses most of the general populace's like issues with soccer, right? There's no offsides. There's a lot of goals that get scored every
A lot
game,
of goals.
and it's very, very fast paced. It's like soccer, basketball. But it's got a lot of strategy to it too, because like if you're on the blue team and you cross the ball over into the front, the red or the yellow team, anybody could go and score. So it's really kind of cool how the game works. But it's only played in the West Coast in California. I haven't seen it make its way out to here, but man, we love some Omega Ball because it is just crazy cool. And there's so many different variations. There's indoor soccer, but then there's also futsal, which is totally different. And then our kid is actually going to play in a sand soccer tournament this summer where they actually play on the beach.
On the
Um,
beach.
and that's the whole thing. I mean, they have sand soccer Olympics or World Cups or all these other things. So
I would
anyway,
hope that's why it's called sand soccer, not that they just filled the soccer ball with sand. It's just broken toes all over the place.
Passions when they try to headbutt the ball.
But dude, I gotta tell you, sand cleats are weird.
there are no
I'd
sand
imagine.
cleats. They either play barefoot or like in like neoprene socks things. I don't know.
Big
But
Crocs.
it is the same game but different. So when it goes out of bounds, you still do a throw in, like you still have to score. There's all the same, but there's not as many players on the field. It's a smaller field. But the game is much more in the air because if you think about it, you don't want to try to pass the ball on the ground like a rolling pass on the beach because it'll be like all over the place. So it's much more of a in the air game. That was a visual twitch, huh? You liked that one?
Yeah.
Anyway.
Here's the weird thing for you to think about. It's back to Omega Ball, in that they do still have corner kicks.
But there's no corners.
I know, right?
Well, if it's triangular, I mean, there's three corners.
It's not triangular. There is no corner. It is a circle. But it's just there's a spot and it's midway between the goals, so it's like it's
So
still
if
not
you
a
did
corner.
draw
But
a
I just don't.
triangle in the circle, that's where the corner is.
Yeah. Anyway, I don't. Do they call it corner kicks, or they just call it
They
like
do. They call it a corner
restarts?
kick.
Okay. Yeah. Anyway. But yeah, we like Omega Ball. But just in general, we watch a lot of random stuff. We watch World Chase Tag. This is where have you seen World Chase Tag? Dude,
It's literally
it's
tag.
basically it's tag, but it's parkour. So you
Oh,
have basically a
yeah.
court with all the stuff all over it. And you have to go under it, over
Climb,
and
you
around.
can slide, you can jump.
You get what? It's like 30 seconds or not even
You have
that
30
long.
seconds to tag someone.
And if you manage to get away and not get tagged, you get a point. Each evasion counts as a point. Yeah, dude. World
It
Chase
seems-
Tag, that's pretty fun.
It seems like a real live action Dead by Daylight kind of a thing.
And it was so weird because I was flipping through the channels one day and I was like, blip. I was like, wait a minute. I went back. I was like, wait, what, did that say tag? World Chase? What is this? Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah, you never scroll past the Ocho. What are you talking about?
Right? Yeah. Oh,
Sorry, Terry.
I really love the Ocho. Kickball was on TV the other day, but still no roller derby. Anyway, yeah, sorry. But yeah, so all of those obscure sports, we just absolutely love them. But World Chase Tag is one of those where it's the same build of people who do American Ninja Warrior, right? You have your gymnasts, you want to be kind of slim, but you also need long arms, right? So it's but man, yeah, that's pretty fun. So there's some crossover too. Some of the stars, if you will, of American Ninja Warrior do World Chase Tag. Let's see. Top Chef has come back. We watched a couple of episodes of that. That's the only real reality competition show because they're really actually cooking the food. And this time they're in Canada. And the coolest thing is the backdrop of the kitchen as you come in is this really neat architectural design that's cut out in the shape of the maple leaf flag. But inside of it is bottles of maple syrup. Hundreds of bottles of maple syrup, and it's all lit up. It's like
Oh, wow.
Their set design this season was on it. So it is an ode to Canada, and yeah, they've already had to do something with Canadian bacon and maple syrup as their ingredients.
Of course.
We lost your audio, Billy.
We lost your audio.
Ain't nobody want to hear you anyway. No, I'm just kidding. We do. It's crackly.
Yeah, it keeps getting crackly like a loose cable or something like
Yeah.
that.
Okay,
Well,
I'm
Terry,
hearing.
Yeah, okay. Well,
Yeah.
it's kind of soccer related, but we're rewatching Welcome to Wrexham, and
mm,
we're letting our kid watch this. And so I think I probably talked about it the first time that I watched it, but I'm
mm,
rewatching it with my kid. This is Rob McElhenney and Ryan Reynolds bought a football team in Wales, and they're progressing them up the charts to try to get with the goal of getting to the English Premier League, which is really cool because they're making really good progress and playing really well. But it's just also a fun show. They do things about like Welsh culture. They've got a lot of stuff on mental health and like talking about your mental health and their friendship is just like real and authentic and they say I love you to each other but it's in a totally non-romantic way. It's just a great show, but their coach curses so much that sometimes in certain episodes they'll do like an F-bomb counter on the bottom of the screen. And I mean, my kid, we also have friends who curse like sailors. So I mean, she knows that she's not really supposed to say that stuff anyway. But I don't even think she would. Maybe when she's older she'll feel like it. I wouldn't even be mad if she used it appropriately, right? Whatever. But yeah. But what's really bumming me out is I brought up trying to get her to start Ted Lasso again. Okay, she watched one episode of Ted Lasso, and not only is it the curse words, but it's also kind of adultier when it comes to like sex stuff in the first episode. And I was like, girl, if you could just get to like Sam and like Danny Rojas
mm.
and like you're gonna love Ted
Football
Lasso.
is
Like I
life.
can't I know I can't. I just cannot get her past. I'm like, if you could just give it like two more episodes, you're gonna love the show. Would you just trust me? And it's like, man, the trust with that kid is just not there. I'm like, you're not even a teenager, but you already think I know absolutely nothing. So yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
I did get to go to her school today. I presented a career day, and I hadn't done this since switching to a new job and everything. And
Yeah.
so that was kind of cool. I work for the power company. For those of you who don't know, that's my day job. I make it sound so boring, and sometimes it is, but change enablement maybe sounds a little bit sexier. But anyway, but I brought in like the hard hats and like the vests and like some steel-toed like rubber boots and like a bunch of PPE for them to be able to try on. And so the kids really had a fun with that. So um yeah. So and then this weekend I'm coming up. We have a friend who has an extra ticket to one of those like mega cons that's in Richmond this week, which really isn't usually our thing. But like if I don't have to pay to go and I can walk around the dealer room and like you know, maybe see a
I can
celebrity from
go.
afar because I'm not paying. This con is so wild with its crazy add-on things you can buy. For like $2,700, you could have like one-on-one slash part of it is one-on-one, part of it is group with like Ric Flair as the wrestler, right? But you get like a
Woo!
signed, right? You get like a signed robe and you get all this other stuff, but it's almost $3,000.
Yeah.
Weird Al is going to be in town. He is on one panel. He has a Q&A, and then the rest of the weekend is all him doing photo ops. $100 for the autograph, or $100 for the picture, or 150 for both. And I'm like, okay, it's Weird Al. But then he has a thing where you can for like $500 get like a small, I don't know how small, right? You could be at an event and have the opportunity to at least talk to Weird Al. And I'm just kind of like, I mean, I guess. But then there's a bunch of other ones too. Plus, Richmond is pretty big on tattoos. You can get like William Shatner's signature tattooed on your body for like $500 at
yeah.
this con. So it is just crazy. So our plan, I mean, like my plan is just to kind of like walk around. I'm gonna, I have some friends in the area who cosplay, who are into these like larger mega cons, but
Mm,
I may just like I said, pop by, but because I'm not really having to pay or do anything. But
mm.
it's and it's also like the schedule. It's so hard to determine if there's even any content on panels that I would even want to see. So I don't know.
There are trade
But those are
shows
definitely
with with
yeah.
some minor paneling to get by and call itself a con. Yeah, I've been to some
Yeah.
of those. They're not my bag. They just aren't.
Yeah. I don't think you're right. They shouldn't even really call it a con because it only sort of is. But like Brian O'Halloran is there from Clerks and like some interesting people. I guess if you were like the type of person who wanted to get like people's autographs from like you're trying to complete a set or something, right? Like because Dragon Con is not that, right? Like it's big and it's there's rooms and rooms and rooms of things you can buy, and you can certainly pay out the wazoo to meet a celebrity, but it really does also have like content,
Yeah,
like
it's
good,
like
high quality content.
it's both types of conventions mashed together because you
Right,
do
Mhm.
have your autograph hall, but it's
right.
completely separate. So if
Mhm.
you're that autograph hound type person, you can just go spend all your money there.
Right.
But
You
there's
can really
also
get what you want.
panels for people who actually just want to talk about geeky crap.
Right.
So
And yeah, so because people are always like, "Oh, what do you mean you don't go to those ones?" And I'm like, "Yeah, that's just not the same." So anyway, but I'm gonna, you know, bounce around there and try to not buy anything. So that'll be fun. Just try to go and like, well, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna probably meet up with some friends and then just be there like bad influence and be like, "I think you should buy it." And just walk around like spending vicariously spending their money and just being a bad influence. So, um,
Taking our kid.
maybe I haven't decided yet. Technically, kids 9 and
Kids 9 and
under
under get in free.
get in free.
Hey, did you know my kid is still 9? Did you know that?
Uh-huh. Yep. Like
You
yeah,
know, that's the
you're
thing as a
over
parent.
29.
You gotta hold on to that age as long as you can.
You know how pissed I
Yeah.
got as a kid when I found I had to start paying adult prices for movies, but I couldn't get into an R-rated movie. I'm like, what are you talking about?
yeah, no,
Yeah,
that
that's
doesn't
a
make sense.
Obviously,
bad
I'm still a
double
kid if I can't get into an R-rated movie. Come on.
Still a kid now. Oh, but I'm just kidding. Anyway, I probably forgot like a bunch of stuff, but I'm just gonna
Kid.
go ahead and say that's been my geekiest week.
Just one. Cool.
I gotta save you something.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'll go next. I am slowly making my way through season 2 of Severance. Yes, I
Think about
know
what
I
you
am behind on
Or
everything with that, but I'm
behind.
savoring it because I'm also listening to the podcast. So um yeah, I'm enjoying season 2 of Severance. Such a damn good show. I'm also enjoying season 3 of Dark Wind if you're into the 70s, if you're into Navajo mythology, if you're into Native American anything, you'd like Dark Winds. Um I'm really enjoying that. And then I'm caught up on Daredevil. So I'm also really enjoying that. Yeah, I knew at the end of episode 3 when that person walked out and just popped White Tiger, I'm like, oh, Frank is not going to be pleased with you. So happy to see Punisher show up again. So, yeah. And then I started watching White Lotus on HBO. I'm about I watched the first season and about halfway through season 2. Totally unlikable people, but I find the show fascinating. I'm kind of glad that they switch casts every season because I don't necessarily want to spend that much time with these people.
I'm just gonna skip season
Wow.
1 and 2 and go to straight to 3 because Walton Goggins is on.
Yeah, and Sam Rockwell. I almost did that, and Jason Isaacs. And this show likes full frontal male nudity a lot, so I was like, maybe I'll just skip to season 3. But no, I started at the beginning. So, and that's what I've been watching from television. Movie wise, I don't know if I mentioned Presence last time. I don't remember where I left off movie wise, but this is the one where you are the ghost and you're just kind of hanging out in somebody's closet watching this family.
Wow.
And I wish I liked the family more. And I kept thinking, can I go haunt somebody else, please? But
That would suck, right?
I only get boring people.
it's an
I only watch
interesting-
Jersey Shore. Damn it.
It's an interesting little movie. It has a little twist at the end, but I thought it could have been better. And then I went and saw. Oh, then I watched Super Deep, which is this Russian film. It's really bad. I just kept watching it because I was like, "There's got to be a point here somewhere," but there wasn't really a point, and it's really horribly dubbed.
Okay.
It's one of those productions where at least 2 of the actors spoke English, so they filmed it in English, but you can tell that every other actor had to be dubbed because they were just
Oh.
phonetically speaking the words when
Ugh.
they filmed. So you'll have like the female actress obviously speaks English as her second language, and she'll say her line, and then the
Mhm.
guy who is her Russian counterpart would start to speak up, and he would talk like this, and I'm like, okay, wow, that's some bad dubbing. But it's a very long movie that kind of went nowhere. Maybe it just felt long. I can't even remember how long it was. But then we went and saw Opus, which is the John Malkovich movie where he plays a cult leader.
Oh,
And
yeah,
this is
yeah.
getting
Did they
some-
have pudding or Kool-Aid?
Putting your Kool-Aid.
They have oysters
What?
and
At least it wasn't Jimmy John's.
puppetry. It's really
Did you say oysters and puppetry?
and puppetry. Yes.
I thought I heard.
I'm in.
Oh, wait,
this
are
is
there
getting
oyster
some really-
puppets?
No.
Okay,
There's
okay.
puppets like High on the Hills
Right,
and Lonely
okay, cool.
Goldberg puppets, but
Mm.
this is getting some really bad reviews, but I actually really enjoyed it. I thought it was a really tense film. It's not like wildly original or anything like that, but John Malkovich is just having a blast playing this cult leader, and he's worth watching it alone. So I really enjoyed
he
it.
really lets go and like
He does.
given the freedom to chew up the scenery.
Mhm.
There's no one like him.
And he
Yeah.
does that here so much. He's like Elton John mixed with an elderly Jim Morrison type character. He plays this rock star that has been like retired for 20 some odd years and releases a new album.
Some of them are the best characters. Yeah.
Yeah. Invites a select group of people to his compound to listen to the new album. But of course he has ulterior motives because it's a horror movie. I really enjoyed it, but it's getting some bad reviews, so I don't know. Your opinion may vary. And then the last thing is a friend of mine, as a Christmas gift to me, took me to go see John Waters. He did a one-man show in Newton,
Wow.
The Naked Truth, where he told nothing but lies and filthy stories.
Nice.
Had a blast. John Waters is like that cagey uncle your mom doesn't want you to be alone in a room with, and who tells you incredibly inappropriate things that you have to look up to see if that's an actual term or not. But he did about an hour monologue and then opened it up for about 45 minutes of Q&A with the audience, and it was really good. And I got a signed book, and I had a great time. And speaking of books, I also read this, Zombie Bake Off by Stephen Graham Jones, which is about a group of wrestlers that get trapped in a coliseum with a group of bake-off contestants, and they're locked there, and the wrestlers eat tainted donuts and become zombies and start killing people. So,
wow.
And all of the wrestlers, I'm not a huge wrestling person, but I know all of the wrestlers are like based on actual wrestlers, but he changes their names. So they're not like, obvious ripoffs, but
Rodney
really fun.
Piper. Rodney.
Really
Fred
fun
Hofstra.
book. Stephen Graham Jones is a really good author, a horror author, Native American horror author, but this is not his standard kind of hardcore stuff. This is more lighthearted, and I actually really enjoyed it. So fun little read. And that was my geeky sweet.
All right.
Nice.
Mine, I watched The Electric State. It's fun.
It's electric.
It's
$300 million fun.
Yeah, it really is. It's gorgeous. It is gorgeous. It was not spent on originality on the plot.
I turned it off after 10 minutes. It's like, I can't do this.
Really?
I will just rage. I will rage that they spent this much money on this piece of crap.
I don't give a shit that they spent so much money, because they're going to lose that money. Good on them. Way to go. That's the thing. I'll watch it, and they're getting my monthly. That's Netflix. That's spread out over everything I watch on Netflix. So to me, it's just like, hey, look, if that's how they're going to waste their money, they're going to waste their money anyway. So at least it's on something that I enjoyed. It's not good. Chris Pratt plays a standard Chris Pratt character. Millie Bobby Brown's fantastic in it. There's some very sweet, heartfelt moments in it towards the end. It's gorgeous looking, but again, don't expect a whole lot. And I know a lot of people have been talking about the AI with the voice acting. They just used it as a tool just to modulate voices. That's it. Nothing. It wasn't AI generated. It was just AI modulated, which is
but because they did the same thing with The Brutalist. They used AI to modulate Adrian Brody's Hungarian accent and his Hungarian when he speaks Hungarian. And at that point, just hire a Hungarian.
I agree with that. I mean, that's basically auto-tune for accents, but I think that when you're modulating voices to sound like
it was just like an effect.
Like robots, yeah, because it was the robots that they modulated the voices on, and in a way that I had a tough time figuring out. Like, I love sitting there and figuring out, like, oh, I know who's doing that voice. I know who's doing that voice just by hearing them, certain ways that certain words are said, things like that. It's kind of a weird, dorky superpower that I have. I had to look up names. I had to look them up because I was just like, what? No, oh my! It was. I loved it. It was great because it was one that actually, I just couldn't sort out. But again, it's not an original concept for a movie. I think it's well done. And it looks gorgeous. I wish that they had spent more time with the robots though, because that world looks amazing. And the Russo brothers, they're good at what they do, but yeah, if you're looking for something that's revolutionary, well, if you're looking for something that revolutionizes cinema, no. If you're looking for something that's a super original story, no. But if you're looking for just a good time with the kids, there you go. It's a good time.
Sometimes you just need that because the world itself is full of crap. So you might as well have a little fun with the but it's long, right? Isn't it? I looked at it; it was over 2 hours long.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah. Oh, it could have been a better movie. Don't get me wrong; it's not a perfect movie, but it's a good time.
But fun.
Yeah. Dana Gould just dropped his new comedy special. It's available on YouTube. Highly suggest you watch it because he is funny as hell. Severance. Oh.
Severance.
And answering the questions, and opening up more, and not even answering all of the questions that we had, but enough to satisfy us to wait another 3 damn years.
You like them to go a little faster.
3 years?
No, probably
it might
not.
Be less time because we had COVID.
Yeah.
Okay.
It just took 3 years between. But
I'm just saying, like, this. I've been able to avoid hearing too much about this. Flynn and I watched the first episode together, and then I was kind of like, oh, I don't like it. But everybody and their mom was talking about it. But now I'm like, I want to wait until, I don't know. I don't like waiting, being left hanging when the story's not finished.
Here's the thing with this show. Well, first of all, I think it's going to be tough to avoid spoilers for the rest of your life.
Yep.
Well, I mean, I think they're probably going to go
pretty good at hiding from things. But
okay, fair enough. I think that they're probably going to go 1, maybe 2 more seasons at most, because I think they said that they have an end date for it.
And based on what we saw, yeah, they're gonna have to start wrapping things up in the not too distant future.
You know what? Every time that we think that they're good, they've earned the credit that they could keep it going forever, and I'd be like in it, but okay. I don't think that they will.
Not exactly a spoiler, but everybody cover your ears that don't want to hear this. Do it right now. Dude, Rich.
Mm-hmm.
I can't wait 3 years to get Milchick dancing again.
I know.
All right, come back.
Terrence Trammell is so good at dancing.
Come back.
And the way that he moves his body and stuff like that, it is so good. I love it.
Holy Christ.
It's good. We're done.
And then when Adam Scott dies, holy cow! I'm kidding.
Oh my God.
But yeah, I mean, I wasn't.
And like the president of the company is actually Leslie Knope. Who the fuck saw that coming?
Right?
It's crazy.
Just what?
Oh,
so,
I'm sorry. I used the F word. So.
That's right. So I want to talk about. I want to talk about this because I really do think that Ben Stiller figured this out. Adam Scott hair acting. I could tell, but before Severance, I could tell whether his character was an asshole or a nice guy based on whether his hair was up or down. And
kind of cool.
That's one of the ways that we've been able to tell if it's innie or outer mark, is how his hair is. Just those little things. But that's something that's been career wide. If you watch almost all of Adam Scott, I think 90% of the time you can tell if he's going to be a dick or not based on how tall his hair is. Reacher, season 3 has been so much fun. I enjoy it. It's very Reacher-esque. It's very nice. And then there are 2 things that I have been behind on and I'm finally caught up on. The first one, The Righteous Gemstones.
Okay.
I am not normally a Danny McBride fan. He is the William Shatner of Michael Cera's. He does the same thing in everything that he does. But this is the first time that he's played a character that can actually kind of back up his boasting and whatnot. And so I actually felt something towards his character then. But the story itself is fantastic. They're not making fun of religion. They're making fun of these mega church folks. And it is one of the filthiest, joke-wise shows.
What's it called again?
Righteous Gemstones. It's him. Oh gosh, I can't think of it. John Goodman plays their dad, plays the patriarch. And then it's
Walton Goggins.
Walton Goggins
I
plays.
do like Walton Goggins.
He plays Uncle Baby Billy. He's an 80-year-old, just old school pastor. And I mean, he's fantastic. And they're a bunch of money grubbing people. They are not good, but you see them grow to a degree because they're still, at least at some point in time, they're learning, but they're still, anyway, but the show itself is fantastic. I just absolutely adore it. And I blew through that in the past 2 weeks, 3 and nearly a half seasons. And it just kept getting better and better and better. And it's just so good. And I love that. And the other one that I finally watched was Everything Everywhere All at Once.
Wow. Okay.
Haven't seen that
So
yet?
enough time had passed that
I
you
hadn't.
didn't really feel like, that it was overhyped because all of that had died down and you were able to give it a fair shot? Yes?
Well, no, it was just that whenever it was streaming, there was either something else going on where I didn't get the chance to sit down and watch it, or it just wasn't available for streaming yet. And stumbled across it on Max. It was like, oh, hey, it's available now. Sat down, watched it. And because it's also like a 2+ hour movie and everything like that.
Sure.
And it was
You do
just,
have to read certain parts of it.
which I was fine with. I don't like subtitles. Okay. Subtitles are very distracting for me because I read a little bit slower. I admit that. And I'm always afraid of missing the visual stuff on screen.
Yeah.
And so with the reading and then reading back up, if I can just hear and understand, then I can take in everything. So, but oh my gosh, that movie was just so beautiful and so good, and holy cow, so clever, and not necessarily an original story, but oh my gosh, just the way it was delivered was original. It was gorgeous. In Kihui Kwan, holy smokes, I'm not surprised my man got an Oscar for that, and that it just kicked off his career again, because he was so damn good in that.
What was your
So fun.
favorite of all the multiverses at the end, like the hot dog fingers and the rocks with the googly eyes?
The rocks with the googly eyes was just pretty much my favorite. I loved all of them. The hot dog fingers, hilarious and weird and goofy, and it was just like, no. And I mean, how did they make Jamie Lee Curtis the sexiest she's ever been? I don't know. It was just so much fun, and just rooting for everybody and just hoping that they would make it and stuff, and just, it was just so damn good and
Special
gorgeous.
Shout out to James Hong, who is 95 years old.
Right.
Yeah.
Damn.
And still going strong.
Yeah, man.
That's
Like,
the power
holy
of,
cow.
kung fu flowing through his veins.
That
And-
man must have like 300, 400
Well,
screen credits.
he has a bunch of green-eyed girls back at his house.
Yeah, I was gonna say because if it's like in the diet, then I'm gonna eat. I'm gonna live for 400 years after all the Chinese food I've eaten in my lifetime, based on 3 buffet visits. Just again, it was so beautiful, and I admit I was crying at the end. It was just so good. But yeah, just everything about that movie was just so fantastic. And if you haven't watched it, highly recommend. And that's probably one that I'll watch every year.
Did.
And that has
I want
been
to
my
rewatch that movie again. Wow.
yeah.
Because like it's one of those too. If you hadn't seen it, you should watch it. But it's like it's better if you know basically nothing about it.
Mhm. Oh yeah, and I didn't know anything going into
Yeah.
it, and I was just
Good.
like,
Because
"This is
it
so
cannot be
cool."
explained. Because it cannot be spoiled. It cannot be explained.
Yeah,
I mean, how do you explain the bagel? How do you explain the
Right.
bagel?
Right.
it's an everything bagel.
Right.
Right there in the name.
Yeah, it's like there's a portal in a soap dispensary at Bed Bath and Beyond. It's the Beyond. Like there are certain things that just make sense.
Right there.
Yeah,
Good stuff.
so good and such a good family family message in that, for everybody.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Oh.
So good. That's been my Geek Suite.
Oh, okay. So some comics. I'm caught up now with Batman '89. New issue came out. God, Billy D. Williams' Two-Face. It's just so awesome. You really have to read
No.
it just for that alone. It's so good just for that alone. I wrapped up the question all along the Watchtower, where she's brought into the jail a satellite because something's going on. Nobody can quite figure it out, and it's a pretty good mystery. It's fun.
It's not a Battlestar Galactica crossover.
Unfortunately, no. The interesting comic find this time is there's a Jenny Sparks miniseries. That's a Wildstorm character, and Wildstorm's now part of DC. So Jenny Sparks was born in the year 1900. She's the spirit of the 20th century. We're not going to get into it, but she could kill Batman and Superman, and so they decided to talk to her to sort of be like the internal affairs of superheroes, which is good since Captain Adam kind of loses it and wants people to call him God because he's God now. So that was a pretty damn good
With
read.
great power comes great egomaniacalism that
Mhm.
yeah, it doesn't have the same ring to it, even if I had managed to get that word out.
Narcissism.
Here's the moment I warned
Thank you.
Here's the moment I warned you about. The comic I didn't know I was going to read. The comic I didn't know existed.
Hmm?
The Harley Quinn Fartacular. Silent, but BUTT, deadly. So in this particular comic, Poison Ivy toots in front of Harley. Oh, and she thinks it's adorable, but Poison Ivy is incredibly embarrassed and doesn't want to talk about this. And because it's a comic and because why not, Harley starts to get bubble guts and then goes to a museum that has an exhibition on farts, and you'll learn something fascinating about poets of old. And I don't know. It was a very weird read, man. It was a very weird read. I've never read a story or anything completely devoted to farts in my life. So if that's something you've got to do, there's your chance to do it.
Who's
Well, and if there were like pictures, paintings, sculptures, other, representations of farts, it would be a fart museum.
I'm just trying to figure out whose friggin' fanfic did you pick up on accident?
Right?
Well, that's so great because, like, how you have your editor notes during the book. Well, the lady who wrote this keeps popping up and going, I sincerely apologize.
No, Poison Ivy's vegan, so she's got some of those lentil plant broccoli smelly ass farts.
I mean, imagine what her kisses can do.
Oh, I do. I certainly do. Then for watching stuff, there's a show on Netflix that I picked up called Woman of the Dead. This is a German show, so right away, Rich, you're going to hate this because it is dubbed. However, there are subtitles, and the subtitles are for the German dialogue and not for the English dub. So they say the same thing, but they say it in different ways sometimes, which could be confusing if you're paying attention to the dialogue in that. She is a small-town coroner whose husband gets killed, and she starts investigating, and it turns out to be this great, big, complicated very serious thing, and she's the woman of the dead because when she's got a body on the table, sometimes the bodies talk to her. And
Pushing daisies. Sorry, excuse me. What?
no, there's really nothing like, a body laying there with its eyes closed with no emotion whatsoever, just having a conversation.
Yeah.
And the weird thing about this is that's
It's too
actually not a-
expensive to have them like actually open their eyes and like do all of that.
it's just
They didn't have the budget.
it's just not an actual big part of the show. She does get some ideas talking to these dead bodies for things to do, so it does sort of pay off. But there's not a lot of this, and I think that's why she was the woman of the dead in the first place until the final episode where they dropped the title of the show and you figure out why they called her that. But I watched the first season and it's a good mystery. It's a good run. There is a second season. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens. So Carol, I finally watched Paradise.
Oh, yeah.
God, I finally watched Paradise. So I'm not going to say anything because she still might watch this. But I will say this now. If you don't know, the end of the first episode is kind of a mind-blowing, like, oh my Jesus
Yes.
God. If you don't
And
know.
it's like every episode kind of has that moment, but
Every
the first
episode right at the end has this amazing
has
thing.
this like, what the hell did I just see?
But Carol, you didn't tell me that some of the best covers of songs of all time are in this show.
Oh, I know.
Did you ever imagine a version of, We Built This City on Rock and Roll that you would actually like? It's in this show.
Well, it certainly wasn't in the Daredevil episode.
Well, do you know why there's such good music on that show?
You laugh. Why?
Dan Fogelman created it. The guy who created Gallivant.
Oh, really?
Gallivant is
Oh.
great.
Yeah.
Great.
And
Dan
the
Fogelman.
neighbors.
Like, seriously, I want the soundtrack. I want the soundtrack to this show because the covers. I want to redo my karaoke list of my favorite covers again because there's so many covers that are just, oh my God, this is fantastically amazing in that show. And James Marsden is the president, so there you go.
Yeah.
There's your geek credit right there. So, Rich,
Yeah.
I also watched Davy and Jonesy's Locker.
Right?
Let's get this right out of the way to start with. This is a very, very dumb show.
Yes, it is.
But it is such an incredibly fun, very, very dumb show.
It's a smartly written, stupid show. It's
really
just
is.
it's just like Bill and Ted. Bill and Ted is incredibly intelligently written because their stupidity has logic and makes sense, and they're not dumb. They're just ignorant as hell.
That's one of the things I liked about it because their friendship is quite a Bill and Ted friendship.
Yes. Yeah.
Quite a Bill and Ted friendship. And the places this show goes and the things that it does are just so effing ridiculous and so wonderful. Like and it's got some snappy dialogue. There's some just throwaway lines that are in here that are really, really, really good lines. That I had a tremendous amount of fun with that. So they set up for a second season. They kind of cheated setting up for a second season, but I'm gonna take it. I'm gonna take it. And then the big thing she left off the list is that last night, Mark messaged me and went, "Hey,
Oh yeah, I was gonna let you talk about that.
yeah, we watched Emotional Support Demon last night."
Oh.
Oh, cool.
did.
11 and a half
That was
minutes.
cool.
That was a very good time.
Good.
That was
Cool.
a very
Cool
good
beans.
time. It's quite funny in places. Our emotional support demon is quite charming and quite entertaining.
Angela Pritchard.
Angela plays off of this demon as best she can, trying to understand why you're doing the things that you're doing. But what does it matter? That's just
Pretty
how
good
it works.
special effects.
Pretty good special effects. There was a moment where the demon has horns, and for a moment she was like, "Wait, I can't tell if that's CGI or actual horns on her head."
The way that it was highlighted, I was like, "There's no way they would have
It looks-
CGI'd
no,
on the
they
horns.
looked-
They
they
didn't
looked
have
pretty
to.
good.
It was good. Angela probably did that too because she does makeup too. So it
Purple.
was really good. But it was definitely like it was a complete story, but it also was like I was like, oh, when it was over, like it felt sort of also like it could have been a chapter one.
Yeah, there could be a bigger story in that universe, should they ever decide to pursue it at some point or whatnot. But yeah, if you're at a con and it's going to be on the film festival circuit, you'll have a damn fine time, and it's only 11.5 minutes, so it's not going to take you a long time to make it happen.
Yeah,
Support
it's just
your
cool.
local
People making their
filmmakers.
filmmaker dreams come true.
Yep.
We're gonna make it after all.
When you do see it, the only part that was really like unrealistic is they filmed it in a sort of like nice house. Like it definitely looks like a house. And there's a line where it's like, oh, you're in the apartment of your kitchen of your apartment. And I was like, okay, that's not an apartment. So that was it's the but it's like, the demon, I totally bought all of that. Just that was too nice of a kitchen for an apartment.
Yeah, because it's the house everybody stayed in. When they were down for the shoot. All right, everybody get out of the living room. We're gonna shoot a scene.
Pretty standard. Pretty standard.
Yep.
Exactly. And there's people in there that and Blink, there's Jason Buterin. Hey, look. So yeah, there's people you'll have a good time. It's a damn fine time, and yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
And GRD helped make it happen. Woo!
Yeah.
Woo!
We're in the credits. Woo! And we saw it early. Woo! Groovy. So that's and I didn't get to watch something today because things happened. So that's how that works.
The wonderful Billy Flynn looks at what Chad and Abby are up to now. If you know what TV show they're on this week, you could win yourself a prize. It's your Further Adventures of Chad and Abby update. The new school year sees Chad and his friends Stefan and Brady join the AV club. Then Chad gets all swoony over Abby, the principal's daughter, But she kind of has her eye on Gabby, and Chad invites Abby over, and she finds his porn stash, because guys had those, and Abby takes some peeks. But he asks her out, and she says yes, and they end up watching rehearsal for the school play, and Chad goes for a kiss, Abby pulls the fire alarm, sprinklers ruin the set, ha ha ha, comedy. Everyone's getting detention, but Chad covers for Abby, so her and the gang go and try to make some peace. Then she might go see Gabby. Chad tries to soothe the violent heart. Abby wonders if her odd squad can smooth things over, and Gabby has a sense of euphoria. The gang is moving along, but they are in school and know all about the All Absorbs, the Lawton Hales, the absolute draws, #Chabby forever.
Looks like you've got mail waiting.
That one was fun. I enjoyed that one. Hey, geeks, I know this one. They are on the TNT Classic Animal Kingdom. Really thought the show was going to go further than it did. I don't know why not. So, on the off chance I win, what kind of prize are we talking about here? I mean, and I did join the Twitch to help get you to the 100. That is from Carly. Well, thank you, Carly. And yes, last week, Chad and Abby were indeed on a show called Animal Kingdom that was on TNT for like a season. Because that's what they do. As far as prizes, I mean, I've got all kinds of goofy stuff. I think I've said before, I've got like a Jaws bathtub stopper thing. It's a shark that comes up out of water. I've got various T-shirts. I've got some comic books. I've got video games. I mean, we've got all kinds. You say something you're interested in, I'm sure we can find you something. We'll make it happen. And if not, I guess I can open another box and see what's still laying around. Oh, hell, I still have Geek Label T-shirts if you really want to go old school podcasting.
Mm-hmm.
Drop us a note, everybody, won't you please? It's going to be the podcast at thegeekradiodaily.com. Of course, a voicemail or text message. You can use the magic numbers of
510 GRD Crew.
And don't forget, we're playing Jackbox tomorrow night. You'll be reminded again soon, I promise, but you'll actually enjoy it.
Hi, boys, girls, and friends beyond the binary. I'm Matricula, a birthday clown for all ages that are 18 and up. Join me around the campfire to sing songs full of youthful nostalgia like The Magic and Save a Horse, Ride a Time Lord. I also host the Nasty Woman Knitting Circle, where we knit cozies and other items for charity fundraisers. Catch me live on twitch.tv/METRICULA. See you there.
It's Thursday night, and for some reason, the podcast is a low-budget sci-fi epic where everyone talks like William Shatner. Come play Jackbox with Geek Radio Daily on Friday night, and maybe Flynn will ask, is there a dignified way to eat spaghetti?
I think the answer to that is a hearty yes. Once indeed, yeah. See, I told you, we're playing Jackbox tomorrow night. It said it right there. Welcome to it, kids. It's time to get to this part of the show.
I'm not wearing any pants. Film at 11.
Geek News!
Geek News!
From a geeky point of view.
Actor-filmmaker Mel Gibson's The Passion of the Christ sequel, which has seemingly been unable to go into production for several years, now finally appears to have a start date. The Resurrection of the Christ will begin shooting at the complex this August, just in time for the end times. Jim Caviezel is rumored to reprise his role as Jesus in the film with a script by Gibson and screenwriter Randall Wallace that has been assembled from multiple drafts. Assuming it'll star John Voight as Pontius Pilate and Kirk Cameron as the Beeb. Of course, Beelzebub. At last report, the film doesn't have a linear narrative and is expected to travel to other realms. I don't know about you guys, but I can't wait to see when Jesus goes to Outworld to take on Shang Tsung because he found out that Tsung was Jewish.
What the hell? I swear to God,
Jesus was a Jew.
Yeah, exactly.
When you started that story, I swear to God, I thought you said Mel Brooks.
I was like, oh my gosh.
Sure, I'd watch that. Actually.
Yeah, hell yeah.
I would definitely watch that.
Oh, of course.
Well, speaking of sequels, the Avengers are assembling again for Avengers Doomsday, and Marvel had a live stream where they announced some of the actors returning for this upcoming sequel.
Wait, there are more?
And they include Chris Hemsworth as Thor, Anthony Mackie as Captain America, Vanessa Kirby as Susan Storm, Paul Rudd as Ant-Man, Florence Pugh as Yelena, Tina Huerta as Namor, Simu Yu as Shang-Chi, Sebastian Stan as Bucky Barnes, Letitia Wright as Black Panther, Elon Musk, excuse me, ma'am, Burback as the Thing, Backrack as the Thing, sorry about that, Elon, and Kelsey Grammer as Beast, Louis Pullman as Sentry, Danny Ramirez as Joaquin Torres the Falcon, Joseph Quinn as Johnny Storm, David Harbour as Red Guardian, Winston Duke as M'Baku, Hannah John Kamen as Ghost, Tom Hiddleston as Loki, Patrick Stewart as Professor X, Ian McKellen as Magneto, Alan Cumming as Nightcrawler, Rebecca Roman as Mystique, James Marsden as Cyclops, Channing Tatum as Gambit, Pedro Pascal as Mr. Fantastic, and then the live stream concluded with Robert Downey Jr. making an appearance because Robert Downey Jr. will come back as Dr. Doom in Avengers Doomsday. At this point, the entire movie is just going to be people walking on going, hey, I'm this character, and walking off.
Look, kids, it's Mark Hamill.
In was it Infinity Wars where there's a scene where they cast all the circles and then everybody comes.
Everybody comes. Yeah, it's just going to be that just for 3 hours. Yes. With filming starting on the next installment of of course we are. With filming starting on the next installment of the Avengers saga, directors Russo brothers are taking extra precautions to avoid spoilers. You'll notice that Spider-Man was not listed amongst the cast members there, so one of those leaks is already plugged. Because Tom Holland won't have a script.
He can't keep a secret worth it.
Yeah.
He can't keep a secret for anything.
Sony, stop being dicks. Loan him out. Let him out of his box.
We're pretty good about shutting that stuff down, Joe Russo told a reporter in an interview, with Anthony Russo adding, we've sort of strategized to be hopeful to be effective in that. For that reason, the Russo brothers are filming in sound stages, and Joe admits we don't want people getting photographs, so we're being pretty stringent. The location work... Nick, I'm trying to read.
For those of you at home, there's a kitty that keeps knocking the phone out of her hand.
Would you
really
with the
loves
other
Pedro Pascal. So we've picked those locations with that in mind, Anthony noted. Avengers Doomsday is due to hit theaters May 1st, 2026. So we have an entire year to wait, and then all of those people will just walk across the movie screen for us.
Nah, there'll be plenty of time. It'll be 7 hours long. It'll be just like The Lord of the Rings.
Well, in that it has Patrick or Ian Stewart or Ian McKellen and a bunch of other people. And actually, I think he's the only one that comes through. Yeah.
Best thing about this live stream was it was hours and hours long, mostly just of chairs.
Of chairs with people's names on them. Just Ian was like, who else? Who else are they announcing?
We're not. There's no panning going across all the. No. Just look at chairs.
Look at chairs.
It's going to be the Cannonball Run of superhero movies.
Oh God, who's Jackie Chan going to be?
Well, probably played by Jackie Chan. I mean, he's still around.
But can he walk anymore after all of that? Who knows? Well, there was a wonderful actor that we all would love to see in this movie who is not on this in this movie, but he will be the next commencement speaker at the University of Maryland. Give it up, ladies and gentlemen, for Kermit the Frog.
Ooh.
You may know that. Yeah, right. The world's most famous frog will deliver the university commencement address on Wednesday, May 21st. Expect, videos of that to go viral later on that day. He'll share his words of wisdom with everybody who's graduating for that like spring 2025 class, and then summer 2024 and winter 2024, or anybody who just wants to wait and would rather walk, with Kermit the Frog. So anyway, Muppets creator Jim Henson did graduate from the university in 1960. He made the first Kermit puppet out of one of his mother's coat and a ping pong ball cut in half. You probably already knew that. But the president of University of Maryland, Daryl Pines, said in a press release he's thrilled that graduates and their families will experience the optimism and insight of Kermit at such a meaningful time in their lives.
Aw.
Our pride in Jim Henson knows no bounds, and it's an honor to welcome Kermit to our campus 65 years after Henson graduated. It's not the only place. I mean, there's lots of different places that have a connection with the Muppets. But Kermit, in a press release, said, "Nothing could make these feet happier than to speak at the University of Maryland. I just know the class of 2025 is going to leap into the world and make it a better place. So if a few encouraging words from a frog can help, then I'll be there." I really should have tried to get Flynn to read this story. He can actually do a Kermit impersonation. But I thought that was kind of cool, and I will definitely be tuning in to see the highlights from that when they come out. So it's not easy being green. It's probably also not that easy to speak in front of thousands of people at once. But I'm sure Kermit will figure it out.
I just want him to come out and be like, well, sorry guys, but shit's effed. I don't know what to tell you. I mean,
And then he takes a sip of tea. And
yeah.
then he walks out.
Hey, you guys are probably going to be paying off the loans from this for the rest of your life. Yeah.
I mean, Kermit's done commencement before, but I want to say it's been like a good 15, 20 years since this has happened. So, hey,
Yeah.
Welcome back, sir.
Yeah, we look forward to hearing all about how woke it was because he was being positive.
Oh, like, really? The Muppets are woke?
Right.
Oh, my God.
They're
All
like
right.
the wokest of all.
Black Widow, Captain America, Black Panther are no longer going to be battling Taskmaster near the docked Quinjet in Adventures campus, as the rooftop stunt show at Disney's California Adventure is on the growing list of canceled entertainment.
No.
The final performance of Avengers Assemble will be held April 5th as the expansion of Avengers Campus begins at Disney California Adventure, according to Disneyland officials. So Thanos finally wins. I'm so sorry what that's going to do to you, Thor. Disneyland officials do not have any additional information to share on the future entertainment offerings for the Avengers Campus. The closing of Avengers Assemble follows the final performance of Doctor Strange Mysteries of the Mystic Arts in June, the removal of stunt performers from the Amazing Spider-Man show in November, and the end of Storytime with Deadpool Holiday Special in January, which is great. So that probably means we're going to end up like a goddamn Herbie the Robot show where, God help us, Fred and Barney meet the Thing. The Stuntronic robot and a meet and greet character still remain in the Spider-Man show without the high-intensity stunt performers, and they can just describe what used to be there, and good luck getting kids to use their imagination. Iron Man, Thor, Captain Marvel, other superheroes meet and greet stuff still happens. That's still going to happen. The Avengers Campus expansion is underway now and is supposed to add a new Avengers Infinity Defense and Stark Fight Lab attractions to the Marvel superhero theme land. But the exact time of that has not been stated. We don't know when it's going to happen. So for now, Avengers Disassemble. GRD is licensed for non-commercial, non-derivative works. United States 3.0 license. Come check us out on Facebook and on Twitter. Stop by the website at geekradiodaily.com. Or of course, send us an email. Try to get one of these prizes, and we'll see if we've got one that you like. It's podcast at geekradiodaily.com. Or of course, the voicemail text message would be done by using these numbers.
510 GRD Krill.
Cool. So we'll see you this week, but I don't have the calendar up, so I can't tell you the day exactly because it's another month, and that's very confusing. It's very strange.
What do you think? It stinks.
Peace out, Leah.
Good night, suckers.
Right now, I wish I could crawl in a hole and pull it in after me.
Creeps like you should be in a cage.
Good cut.
Now,
Look at this place. Like a museum of failure.
This report is maybe 12 years old. Parliament buried it and stayed buried until a river dug it up. This is what they feared she knew. And they were right to fear. Because there's a whole universe of folk who are going to know it too. They're going to see it. Somebody has to speak for these people. Y'all got on this boat for different reasons, but y'all come to the same place. So now I'm asking more of you than I have before. Maybe all. As sure as I know anything, I know this. They will try again. Maybe on another world, maybe on this very ground swept clean. A year from now, 10, they'll swing back to the belief that they can make people better. And I do not hold to that. So no more running. I aim to misbehave.
Yeah, you do. Oh, wait, 410? Okay, 410.
410. Yep.
410 is next episode.
And then we will not record one on 424 because that's the weekend of RavenCon.
RavenCon. We'll have a live show that we'll do. Woo!
Live from RavenCon. Woo!
And so who's going to be there?
I will be.
I will.
Come
Not
on, Rich.
me.
Come on, man.
Nope.
No, not yet.
So what? Mysticon next year, maybe the first one.
Mm-hmm.
He's going to be at Mysticon.
Mm-hmm.
Retcon. You should come to Retcon. I mean, that's like literally right down the road from you.
Yeah.
I don't know. We'll have to see how I'm feeling after Mysticon.
Well, I think actually Retcon comes before Mysticon next year.
No, that's why he's telling you he's not going to make it, because he's going to wait.
Oh.
He's being very upfront and honest with you.
Yeah. All right, guys. Well, thank you so much for tuning in. We appreciate all of you guys. Make sure you go do something geeky. We appreciate it. Make sure you tell your friends about this. We're so close to our follower goal of 50.
Yes.
We're so close. We only need 2. So please let your friends know. Let your mama know. Let your mama's friends know. Make sure you guys follow.
100 before I give this Boba Fett helmet to somebody else.
Well, that's true. That's true. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for tuning in, and we certainly hope you have a fun, happy, and safe week. Sweek. 2 weeks. Sweeks.
Sweek even.